Hello, what's up? And we're back. Standard cards and more deck discussion as we explore this already unknown and probably one of the high-priced cards from the Murders of Carlo Marnor set, which is the Leyline of the Guild Pack that's been seeing gameplay in the modern decks. And this video today we're going to discuss the standard potentials, and I mean that how would this version of a domain deck, since we already know that there is an existing domain midrange or domain control deck in the standard metagame, we see this one as more of the aggro approach. So we're going to check off. I made this list with some several references from the user submitted decks in various websites, and also did my own adjustments. We call this one the Leyline domain aggro, with this lineup of 19 creatures, 14 enchantments, of course with the Leyline of the Guild Pack, 4 instants, and 23 lands. We'll only be discussing the main deck, card choices, as we can see here, as to why this would be the support of this card as we explore again the domain mechanic, which was reintroduced in Dominaria United. So we can see here these cards that would basically gain advantage or benefit with this mechanics. So we're going to start off with this 2-drop of Nishuba Brawler. It is a 2 mana of X3, wherein the star or the X here is basing on the domain, so we're equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. So at its maximum, it is basically a 2-2-drop 5/3 trampler creature, so very good in its own. Then we also have copy or playset copies of Rakdos Firebrand. So you can see here it would also have a 3/1 effect, but the activation would be less for the domain for each of the basic land types among lands you control. And sadly, it is only activated once, but the benefit is that you can activate this for 1 and have this one become a 5/3 creature. And it also have this trigger that whenever it attacks target creature defending player controls with power less than Rakdos Firebrand's power, can't block this turn. So in any efficiency, this would be a good 2-drop in this kind of deck of the aggro type. And we also included Intis, Celestial of the Sun, as more of a card advantage, and also can pump up your creatures whenever you attack. So each of those cards discard would get you to exile the top card of the library, and then you may play that card until your next end step. At the same time, you get to put up some counter on creature, target attacking creature, and it gains trample. So we have 3 copies of that in the deck. And also this pseudo 2-drop, the Yabimaya Iconoclast, which is like 2 cast 3/2, but when it's kick, it gets +1/+1 and gains haste. It becomes a 4/3 haste trampler creature for 3 mana. So in any case of your curve, you can just curve with the Brawler, for example, and then play Iconoclast on turn 3 with a kick mana cost, and we have this one as a 4/3 creature trampler. Also, we can attack at the same time with that of the Brawler. Now the other pseudo domain that can benefit of the creature in this lineup is your 4 copies of the Yabimaya Sojourner. This would cost 1 less for each of the basic land type among lands, so it would mean that -5, it would just become a 3 to cast 4/6 3/4 creature. Well, it's not really that of the curve here, but efficiency, it would still become a good 3-drop nevertheless because of the high power and toughness of this creature. Now for the support of the enchantments, so aside from Leyline of the Guild Pack, we also included the domain card also that is sort of an enchantment removal with the 4 copies of Leyline's Binding. And also we have added new cards from Murders at Carlo Manor with the 4 copies of Case of the Shattered Pack, and this one would also have Case of the Trampled Garden. So we discussed the Case of the Shattered Pack. Is this a 2 mana cost enchantment case that enters the battlefield, search the library for a basic land, reveal it and put it in your hand. This is also a good way to get your domain fix for your mana also. And to solve, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. So with Leyline into play, this would basically be solved. And once it's solved, at the beginning of combat, you get this benefit that target creature you control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance. So in any case, this would become very efficient. You can have a 5/3 flying double striker roller, or any of the Radhas or Inti, or any of the possible attack your setup that can have the most damage on that turn. So that with the case, we also have another option here with the Case of the Trampled Garden. It would have to put 2% counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. In having to solve it, creatures you control have total power of 8 or greater. in which with most of these creatures already getting the benefit of the domain, it's not really hard to get to have this one solved. And once it is solved, whenever you attack, put the possible counter on target attacking creature, and it would gain trample until end of turn. So that is also a very efficient way to pump up your creatures, at the same time making them trampler would really make sure that you can avoid jump blockers and made this damage directly involved to your opponent's life total. So with that cases and ley lines, we have the only 4 instance in the deck, which is the reprint of the Geosmite. So you can see here the original printing, and the printing would be added here would be this one from Dominaria United. So it gets 2 +1 of your target creature until end of turn for each of the basic land types among lands you control. So that's what the maximize would be +5 for only 1 mana, and also can be off to lethal in certain scenarios. Now for your lands, of course, you would need, of course, the support of the tri-lands from the Streets of New Capena. We have 4 copies of Yatora's Proving Ground, that is for the John colors. Sparacid Quarters for the Bank, which is Forest Plains Island, and then Jetmir's Garden for the Naya, which is Mountain Forest Plains. Though the only drawback is that it would come to play top, but it also makes sure that your domain requirement is covered by 3 for each of these tri-land card type or land type played into the battlefield. And other options here are just the basic lands. We make sure that we avoid maybe using channel lands here because of the domain requirements. So of course, basic lands would also suffice for the mana fix in case that you would not be able to start off with a ley line and play for your turn. And last but not least, for deck stats, it's average for 3.24, while we see here we have 2 mana cost mostly, but they are basically virtually going also with the 3 and 4 mana respectively, depending on how you would carve out your creatures on your first 4 turns. And color distribution is mostly green, but we have a good fix here to make sure that all of the other colors are satisfied. But you can basically see here that you can just need a red or green colors, and only the white one would have the ley line of the guild back for you to fix your mana cost. And we have no tokens or extras here, and that's basically it for this domain deck. I hope that you've seen already some matchups from other YouTubers that they have played this similar version of this deck, or they may have come up with a better deck list. But nevertheless, we still have a good way to show this to you guys for this video on how a domain deck would still be maybe a tier 2 aggro of choice in the current standard metagame, with Murders at Kalub Manor set added the format. So I guess that's pretty much it, guys, for this one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You can also check out my Archideck account for the previous decks uploaded, not only for standard but also for Pauper and other formats. You can check it out also here. And thank you for watching, guys, and see you on the next one.